Hey, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, before I begin with this lesson, I want to start it off by giving all the glory and infinite praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakaha Kadash. Double honor to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings be taught the Akim now pushing this word in truth and sincerity. Shalom and Yahweh Shema Shai Barakathon. Some are probably entitled this lesson. Know the times that we living in. The reason I gave this lesson that title is, based off the shit that I've been seeing on different, news sites, such as the one that I got pulled up, end time headlines. It's a whole lot of stuff that's going on, right? And as brothers constantly get into, Jacob's trouble, that's a prophecy that's gonna take place, man. You know what I'm saying? In the near future. It could be this year, and it damn sure can be in 2023. Because I just seen an article on how Chicago, it's certain crimes that you commit that they not even gonna be tripping on no more. You know what I mean? That domestic violence, all that type of stuff, they not gonna respond to that. We know that eventually ain't gonna be no more 911. That shit is gonna be null and void. You know what I mean? And that's why America's gonna be, basically become like a third world country. Because then on top of that, the shortage of food, that's still, in effect. It says certain places is going without water. Like in Jackson, Mississippi, they was just going without water. You know what I mean? I remember some shit like this happened similar in Louisiana. You know what I mean? You had Jake that was trying to break in the heathens, businesses, and they was out there with straps and shit. You know what I mean? So, we definitely in them times where, hey, us that's in the know, hey, we got to keep our head on the swivel, man. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention. Know what's going on. All right? But I got this article pulled up, and as y'all see the title, it says, watch. It's something major going to happen on September 24th. All right, and basically what it was getting into, I'll probably read a little bit of it, but somebody that was, a member of the German legislature, he came out and basically was talking about how, September 24th is going to be a day where everybody remembers exactly where they was, you know what I'm saying, and what they was doing. When I was reading this article, they was basically linking certain things up to what they're saying, like 9/11. You know what I mean? Hurricane Katrina. Shit, the war between Russia and Ukraine, which is all, disasters. You know what I mean? And now something could happen on the 24th. We don't know. Only Yahweh Shema Shai knows. You know what I'm saying? Because he's the one that's putting the spirit on these, these Edomites to do what they gonna do. Right? But nonetheless, hey, with us being in the know, knowing that we in that time where the Lord is going to allow this man to do what he going to do, hey, we got to move smarter than ever. You know what I'm saying? Don't be out here just like a dummy not knowing what the fuck going on. You know what I'm saying? Speaking to myself first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? Stay in the spirit as much as you can. Again, speaking to myself first and foremost because you can never go wrong with it. You know what I mean? When you out and about, don't be wearing slides and Crocs and shit like that. Make sure, you know what I'm saying, you wearing some tennis shoes because, again, anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? Esau can set up a false flag in your city at the store. You know what I'm saying? Have one of them Ishmaelites, when he sleeper cells, run up in there and blow some shit up. You know what I mean? But I'll go ahead and read a little bit of this, and I'm going to get some scriptures. It says, what in the world are they planning to do on September 24, 2022? As you will see below, a member of the German legislature is openly warning that September 24th will be a day when everyone will remember exactly where he or she was. It says, needless to say, those days don't come along very often. For those that were alive at the time, the death of JFK was one of those days. And certainly, 9/11 was one of those days. But off the top of my head, I can't really think of too many others. You know what I'm saying? Because there ain't really been too many, events here in the States alone where it was just catastrophic or some shit, similar to that nature. But we know that's going to change. You know what I mean? We in that time, hey, as the Lord said in Ecclesiastes 3rd chapter, there's a time and season for everything, man. You know what I mean? The Lord has allowed, you know what I mean, the government here in the States to groom you up and allow you to be fat. You know, everything is catered to you, but that shit is gonna stop soon, man. All right. It says, I can remember what I was doing when Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans in 2005, and the Russian invasion of Ukraine earlier this year was definitely a major turning point. Beyond that, there just aren't too many days that will fall into this category, which is, you know, that this shit does make sense because, you know, if something, you know, necessarily didn't happen, you know, catastrophic wise or whatever the case may be, you're not gonna remember too much about that day. Just like today. You know, today is just a normalized day. You know, we doing the same thing that we usually do every day. You know what I mean? But for you to remember exactly what you was doing and where you was on a particular day, you know what I'm saying, that the government has warned you about, that something could possibly happen, they really letting you know. You know what I'm saying? Now again, you know, we know Esau be coming out and just saying shit. Hey, but then again, you never know. Something may happen. And that's why you gotta be wise, man. Got to be circumspect these times that we're coming into because shit, this devil, you know, oh boy, he trigger happy. He ready to do something because as the scripture says, he knew that he had but a short time. All right, and that's pretty much I'm going to read on this shit, man. I'm going to go ahead and grab some scriptures real quick. So let's go to Ephesians 5 and 15. And it says, as a matter of fact, we'll start at 14. It says, wherefore he said, awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and the Mashiach shall give thee light. Right? You know, which is happened, you know, which is what has happened to us. You know, this is why we have this truth. This is why we know what's going on because, you know what I'm saying, you know, through the Heavenly Father's Son, Yahushua, hey, we've been redeemed and woken up to this truth. All right, it says, see then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. Right? And when you go into that word circumspect, you break it down. Circle, which basically means, you know, around or a circle. And spec means to observe or to look or to know. Right? So in other words, you know what I mean, you gotta know what the times that we living in. Right? Not as fools, but as wise, because a fool don't know shit. You know what I mean? Like I, you know, brought this out a few times, but Esau has that red list, blue list, and the yellow list. The red list and those that are on the blue list are like those that, you know a little something. You know what I'm saying? Especially those that, you know, profess themselves to be in this truth, right? You know, the elect, you know, whatever the case may be, right? And that yellow list is basically just the fools, the dummies. Motherfuckers are just walking around, they trying to get their bag up, you know what I mean? They trying to, you know, basically trying to invest in this society, trying to build it, build that generation of, you know, all that goofy shit that Jake be on. Hey, the Heavenly Father, he doesn't want us to walk like that because somebody who has that mindset doesn't know what's going on, and they damn sure not looking forward to Yahushua coming back, right? Which is a dangerous spot to be in, right? It says 16, redeeming the time because the days are evil. You know what I mean? And we can see it. You know what I'm saying? You ain't even got to be in the truth to see that the days are evil. You know what I'm saying? I remember, you know, I was working with you know, two of the brothers, and we was working for this contractor. You know, bro, you know, was more than likely an Edomite, and you had a couple other Edomites that's working there too. You know what I mean? And you know, we was just, you know, ear hustling this shit. And these Edomites, they know what's going on. They know, they said out of their own mouth that before, you know, war even happens, talking about the third World War, it's gonna get ugly here in America. You know what I'm saying? Them motherfuckers talking about buying bunkers, getting land and all that shit. You know what I mean? And that's why it's good to listen to these Edomites because this is their country. They know what's going on. All right? But hey, man, them days are evil. Right? So much to the point where it's just obvious and you can even feel this shit. You know, I myself, I can feel that something is going to happen real soon. You know what I mean? And I don't run to side because we understand that, you know, this got to happen in order for us to get the fuck up out of here. You know what I mean? So now let's go to, matter of fact, I got the NLT for that. Let me see. Damn. I think I accidentally had closed out on that joint, but No, it's whatever. It's cool. Here we go with this shit. Then they ain't let me click it. That's all good. So let's go to 1 Peter 5:8. And it says, be sober, be vigilant, right? Talking about being, a spiritual minded, keeping your eyes single and staying focused on this truth. Don't go dibbling and dabbling and all the other these different philosophies and shit like that. Don't be distracted. You know what I'm saying? Keep this truth up here on point. All right, it says, because your adversary, the devil, right, talking about the so-called white man, Esau, Edom.
Here, bro.
I can't bring this one. Explain.
Hey. I was just playing with you, bro. Oh.
You good, bro? Fuck. Salaki. Let me read that over again. It says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, right, talking about Esau, Edom, because, devil, that basically just means deceiver. You know what I mean? And who's been that man on the planet Earth that's deceived the whole world, man? The so-called white man. You know what I'm saying? Started with that damn image of Cesare Borgia. It says, as a wrong lion walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Right? And as I quoted Revelations 12:12, we in that time where this white boy getting ready to make that move. You know what I mean? He like a badass kid that don't get his way and want to ruin it for everybody. That's basically where he at with it, because he knowing that he finna be taken up out of the spot. You know what I'm saying? The rulership spot. So he finna try to go out with a bang. And he is. But the only ones that he not gonna get are all those that are part of the elected. I don't want to south. You know what I mean? I am with that number. Because it's thinking about what the Lord is going to do. You know what I mean? That shit, that shit unsettling, right? This is why, we got to do what we can now so that, we be okay in that time, man. All right? So this is Mark 13:33. And it says, take heed. It's like you take ye heed, watch and pray, for not when the time is, right? And this is first and foremost applying to, Yahushua second coming. But you can also apply this, to Jacob's trouble as well, because that's something that has to happen before Yahushua comes back. You know what I mean? But we in that time where, we got to be watching, man. You know what I'm saying? Paying attention to, news articles, all that good shit. Because it tells us in Satan's 9:1 to measure out a time diligently in itself. You know what I mean? Pay attention, man. You know what I mean? Because then shit like this, where they talking about September 24th, something can happen. Hey, pay attention to that, because these things not far-fetched. You know what I'm saying? But, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and close it out, man. I don't know to this was edifying and that the poem's proven. All right, call like you have about Shema Shabbat, Shema Kakadash, Shalom, Nabal.